Well, indeed, I can tell you that the Ladybrand is actually in the Eastern Free State, and it's about 18 kilometers away from the Lesotho border post bridge. And like all the other international port of entries, that is closed. There's about 500, an estimated 500 business people, owners as well as managers of various businesses that are based in Lesotho, but there are South Africans that live on this side of the country, in our country, that cannot get across. They're supposed to commute every day. But unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, they are unable to go through and, just to give the necessary services. These are people from across various sectors, We've even spoken to a lady who is a manager of a big security company, and you can understand that is actually an essential service. But right now, to talk to us is a manager of one of the major textile factories in Lesotho. He's based here in Ladybrand, Mr. Tim Elliott. Tim, just talk to us about the huge inconvenience and what it means for the business that you're running.
Good afternoon, and thank you for giving us a platform. Beck Trading has been a PPE manufacturer for more than 30 years. We employ more than 700 local Lesotho staff. And Lesotho has lifted the lockdown, in which businesses and factories can now reopen. We as South Africans cannot cross the border in order to reopen our business. We have a responsibility to the Lesotho people. We've invested in them, that we give them employment. They need to earn money for their families. We need to protect our customer orders. If they cancel orders and go elsewhere, it's going to have long-term financial effects on all the businesses. And we need to get across our borders. We need to reopen. We need to restart the economy.
So what you are saying is that all 700 of the workforce are basically at home because you can't open, you can't get the factory started.
That is correct, and they've been at home for the last 5 or 6 weeks. We are desperate to give our staff their jobs back. We are desperate to give them employment so that they can earn wages to feed their families. It's more than just an economical thing. It's actually about the people as well. Everybody needs to stand together. We understand what is happening. We understand that COVID-19 is something we've never experienced before. But because we are crossing an international border, although Lesotho is landlocked only by South Africa, we cannot attend to our businesses. We cannot reopen.
Obviously, you're standing here representing, your colleagues, if I can put it that way, in the business community. And there's the issue of the quarantine, 14-day period, 14-day quarantine period that one would have to go through once you've come from Lesotho into South Africa. Just tell us about your concerns about that, because you said that there's huge inequalities around that.
Well, we need to, obviously when we cross the border, we've been told we need to go into 14-day quarantine. Lesotho relies on South Africa for testing. We have been tested for COVID-19 and have negative certificates, but yet we're told that we still have to go to quarantine. And the only way we can run our businesses is that we have access daily to our businesses.
And obviously, even though there's, for instance, online methods of running businesses, that doesn't really help in terms of the huge numbers and the workforce that you have to cope with, as well as the major problems that might crop up in between.
Well, we are production-based. Therefore, it's not a business that can be run online or from home or remotely. We need our managers on the ground to run the business, and in doing so, we'll have more than 700 people gainfully employed again. And there are many businesses like us. There's thousands of Lesotho's people that are waiting for South African business owners and managers to cross the border in order to reopen and give them employment again.
What about the permits, the essential service permits? Obviously, in a PPE factory setup, that's an essential service.
It is an essential service, but Lesotho's eased their lockdown. All factories can go back. All businesses can open. It's not about PPE or essential services anymore. It's about us being able to get across the border. But yes, we are a PPE manufacturer, and there are customers in Southern Africa that we need to service.
Well, that is Tim Elliott, one of the managers of one of the factories in Lesotho that has a workforce of about 700 people. He cannot get that workforce back to work because obviously he cannot go through, and he's got everything literally. Everybody's depending on him to go back and get the process started. They anticipated 2 months. But going beyond that with the lockdown, obviously things now are spiraling a little bit out of control. But with that, it's back to you in studio.
Thanks very much, my colleague there, Palesa Moeti.